The morning sky above Valara Prime burned with an unnatural orange glow as another star system went dark on the communication grid. High Counselor Thane stood before the massive holographic display in the central command chamber, watching helplessly. As red warning lights spread across their territory like drops of blood and water, each light represented an entire world full of his people, healers, teachers, children, all silenced forever. "Counselor," whispered his aide Vera, her usually bright blue skin now pale with fear. "The outer colonies have stopped responding. All of them." Thane closed his eyes and felt the weight of billions of lives pressing down on his shoulders. The Valari had ruled this sector of space for over 3,000 years, but they had never ruled through force. They were doctors, not soldiers. Their ships carried healing chambers instead of weapons. Their crews trained to save lives rather than take them. For generations, this had been enough. Other species respected them, even protected them, because everyone needed healers. But the Kethmer Empire was different. They swept across the galaxy like a plague, consuming everything in their path. They had no interest in the Valari's medical knowledge or peaceful ways. They wanted resources, territory, and complete submission. Those who could not fight back were simply eliminated. "Show me the tactical display," Thane ordered, though he already knew what he would see. The hologram shifted to show the movement of Kethmer warships. Massive dreadnoughts advanced in perfect formation, their hulls bristling with weapons that could crack planets in half. Behind them came smaller vessels, troop transports, supply ships, and hunter-killers designed to chase down fleeing refugees. The Kethmar military machine was as efficient as it was merciless. "They will reach our homeworld in 72 hours, reported Defense Coordinator Nix, his voice barely steady. "Our evacuation ships can carry perhaps 10% of the population. The rest, ... He did not need to finish. Everyone in the chamber knew what happened to Valeri civilians who fell into Kethmar hands. The Empire had broadcast the executions from the outer colonies as a warning to other worlds. Even the children had not been spared. "What about our allies?" asked Counselor Vera. "Surely the Galactic Assembly will intervene." Thane shook his head sadly. The Assembly was full of species, just like the Valeri, peaceful, civilized, and completely helpless against a force like the Kethmer. It would hold debates and pass resolutions while Valara Prime burned. Some might even send medical supplies afterward to help with the cleanup. "There is one possibility," Thane said slowly, walking to the ancient control console in the center of the chamber. "The old beacon array." The other counselors looked at him with confusion. The quantum beacon system had been built by their ancestors. Thousands of years ago, back when the Valari still believed in gods and miracles, it was designed to send messages across vast distances, beyond the reach of normal communication systems. But it had not been used in over a millennium. "You want to pray?" asked Vera, her voice filled with disbelief. "Not to gods," Thane replied, his hands moving over the dusty controls. "To whoever might be listening. Somewhere in this galaxy there must be someone who still remembers what it means to protect the innocent." The beacon array hummed to life, its ancient crystals glowing with soft purple light. Thane began composing the message, choosing each word carefully. This might be their last communication with the outside universe. It had to be perfect. To any who received this transmission, he began, his words being converted into quantum pulses that would travel faster than light itself. "We are the Valari of the Beta Centauri sector. We are healers, teachers, and keepers of life. We have never taken up arms against another species. We have only sought to help and to heal. But now we face extinction at the hands of the Kethmer Empire. They have destroyed 17 of our worlds. They show no mercy to civilians, no respect for medical facilities, no compassion for children. In 3 days they will reach our homeworld, and our people will be no more. We do not ask for conquest or revenge. We ask only for someone to remember that we existed and that we tried to make the galaxy a better place. If there is anyone out there who still believes that good should triumph over evil, please help us. We have nowhere else to turn." The message repeated in 17 different languages and mathematical codes, broadcasting on every frequency. The beacon could reach, it would travel for months, maybe years, searching for someone who might care enough to respond. As the transmission ended, Admiral Krex of the Kethmer fleet received his final orders. In 72 hours, he would begin the bombardment of Valara Prime. The last free Valari world would join its sisters in silent darkness, and the Empire would claim another victory, but across the galaxy, in a small monitoring station orbiting Earth's moon, a young lieutenant named Jin was about to detect something that would change everything. The Valari had prayed for a miracle, and unknown to them, their prayer was about to be answered by the one species in the galaxy that had never forgotten how to fight. Lieutenant Jin sat in the cramped monitoring station deep inside Luna Base, watching endless streams of data flow across his screens. It was his third night shift this week, and his eyes burned from staring at the same sensor readings hour after hour. Space was mostly empty and quiet, which made his job incredibly boring. Most of the time, he sipped his cold coffee and wished something interesting would happen for once. Then his computer started beeping. "What the hell?" Jin muttered, leaning forward to study the strange readings. Something was coming through the deep space sensors, but it was unlike anything he had ever seen before. The signal was incredibly complex, with mathematical patterns that seemed to pulse and change like a living thing. It was definitely not natural space noise. "Colonel Park," Jin called out to his supervisor, who was reading reports at the other end of the station. "You need to look at this right now." Colonel Park walked over, carrying his own cup of coffee and looking tired. He had been monitoring space communications for 15 years and had seen every type of signal imaginable. Radiation, even signals from Earth's own satellites that had gone off course. But when he looked at Jin's screen, his expression changed completely. "This is artificial," Park said slowly, studying the complex patterns. "Someone or something is trying to communicate. Get Dr. Lee on the phone immediately." Dr. Lee arrived at the station within an hour, carrying her portable translation computer and looking excited. She was one of Earth's few experts in alien languages, though until now she had only worked with theoretical models and computer simulations. This was the first real alien signal anyone had ever detected. "The pattern is incredibly sophisticated," Lee explained as she worked, her fingers flying over her keyboard. "It is using multiple mathematical systems at once, like they are trying to make sure someone understands them no matter what language they speak." Jin watched nervously as Dr. C. Celsus. Lee worked through the night. The signal kept repeating every few hours, always exactly the same pattern. Whatever was sending it was either very patient or very desperate. Maybe both. "I am getting something," Dr. Lee said suddenly, her voice filled with excitement and fear. "The mathematical parts are becoming clear. They are coordinates, star charts, population numbers. But there is something else mixed in. Something that feels like emotion." Colonel Park frowned. "Emotion? How can a radio signal carry emotion?" "I do not know," Lee admitted. "But whatever species sent this, they found a way to include feelings with their facts. And the feelings are ... scared, desperate, hopeless." It took Dr. Lee another 6 hours to complete the translation. When she finally played the decoded message through the station speakers, the room fell completely silent. The voice that emerged was not human, but the pain and fear in it were completely recognizable. "To anyone who can hear this message, we are the Valari people of the Beta Centauri region. We are healers and doctors. We've never hurt anyone. We have only tried to help other species and make life better in our part of the galaxy, but now we are dying. An empire called the Kethmer is destroying our worlds one by one. They kill everyone, even children and medical workers. In 3 days, they will reach our home planet and finish destroying us completely. We do not have weapons to fight them. We do not have soldiers to defend ourselves. We only have the hope that somewhere in the universe, someone good still exists who might help us. If you receive this message, please remember that we existed. Please remember that we tried to do good things. And if you have the power to help us, please, we are running out of time." The message ended, and the monitoring station remained silent for a long moment. Jin felt a cold knot forming in his stomach. Somewhere out there, An entire peaceful civilization was about to be wiped out. And their last act was to send a message into space, hoping someone would care. Colonel Park was already on the secure communication line to Earth Command. General Cho, we have a situation. You need to see this immediately. Within hours, the message had reached the highest levels of Earth's government and military. In a secure conference room deep beneath Geneva, General Cho gathered Earth's top military leaders and scientists for an emergency meeting. The debate that followed was intense and heated. This could be a trap, argued Defense Secretary Ru. We know nothing about space politics. Maybe this Kethmer Empire has good reasons for their actions. Admiral Song slammed her hand on the table. Did you hear that message?
Yes.
They are killing children and doctors. There are no good reasons for that. Captain Han, Earth's most experienced space combat officer, studied the technical data they had gathered from the alien transmission. Their technology looks advanced, but conventional. Energy weapons, force fields, standard faster-than-light drives. Our experimental weapon systems might actually be more effective than whatever they are used to fighting. We're talking about starting humanity's first interstellar war, General Cho said quietly. Are we ready for that responsibility? The room fell silent again as everyone considered the weight of the decision. Earth had only achieved faster-than-light travel 5 years ago. They had never encountered another intelligent species before. And now they were being asked to choose sides in an alien conflict. But the choice, when it came, was unanimous. Humanity would answer the call. The alarm bells had been ringing non-stop for 3 days at Earth's primary military base. Captain Yoon had never seen anything like it in her 20 years of service. Every available ship was being pulled from patrol duties, training missions, and even museum displays. The shipyards worked around the clock, welding armor plates onto exploration vessels and mounting weapons on cargo haulers. It was complete chaos, but somehow it was working. Status report Yoon called out as she walked through the hangar bay. Of her flagship, the Indomitable, the ship had been built for deep space exploration. But now its cargo holds were filled with ammunition, and its science labs had been converted into weapon control centers. Chief Engineer Nam looked up from the massive railgun he was installing. His face was covered in grease and sweat, but his eyes were bright with excitement. The new weapons are almost ready, Captain. These railguns can fire metal slugs at incredible speeds. The aliens have never seen anything like them. Dr. Kong. The ship's science officer was supervising the loading of what looked like simple metal rods. These kinetic penetrators are basically giant bullets, she explained to a group of young sailors. No explosives, no energy beams, just pure physics. When something this heavy hits a target at such high speed, it does not matter how thick their armor is. Yoon nodded approvingly. Humanity's weapons technology had developed along very different lines from what they were learning about the rest of the galaxy. While other species had focused on energy weapons and defensive shields, humans had spent thousands of years perfecting the art of throwing things at each other very hard and very fast. In the Intelligence Center, Officer SEO was analyzing intercepted alien communications. Captain, you need to hear this, he said, playing a recorded transmission from the Kethmer fleet. The alien voices sounded confused and worried. What are they saying? Yuna asked. They are talking about the new species that answered the Valeri distress call, SEO translated. They call us the metal throwers, and they cannot understand our technology. Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons, but they have no idea how to defend against solid projectiles moving at relativistic speeds. This gave Yoon hope. The Kethmar Empire had conquered dozens of worlds, but they had apparently never faced an enemy that fought like humans. Every species they had encountered used similar technology, energy beams, plasma cannons, and force fields. Humanity's approach was completely alien to them. In the lower decks, Marine Colonel Jang was briefing his troops for combat in zero gravity. The Marines were a mix of veterans from Earth's various conflicts and volunteers who had signed up specifically. For this mission, they all shared the same grim determination. Listen up, Zhang announced to the assembled soldiers. We do not know what these Kethmer aliens look like or how they fight, but we know they target innocent people. They bomb hospitals and kill children. That makes them the enemy, no matter what planet they come from. Private Wa raised her hand. Sir, what if their technology is too advanced for us? Jang smiled coldly. Their technology might be advanced, but they have never fought humans before. We have been perfecting warfare for thousands of years. We know how to adapt, how to improvise, and how to win against impossible odds. More importantly, we know why we fight. We are not just defending Earth. We are defending people who cannot defend themselves. The troops nodded grimly. Many of them had joined the military to protect their families and communities. Now they were being asked to protect an entire alien species they had never met. But the principle was the same. As the fleet prepared to depart, more intercepted Kethmer communications painted a picture of growing alarm in the enemy ranks. The Empire's intelligence services were frantically trying to understand humanity's capabilities, but they were failing badly. The humans have weaponized their star, one intercepted message reported in panic. They use focused solar radiation as a weapon system. Another transmission was even more confused. They attach explosives to asteroids and use them as guided missiles. What kind of species thinks to turn space rocks into weapons? Dr. Kong laughed when she heard these reports. They are terrified of our mining laser satellites and our asteroid defense system. They think we built them specifically as weapons, did we not? Asked Engineer Nam with a grin. Well, not originally, Kang admitted. But I suppose anything can be a weapon if you use it correctly. The final preparations took exactly 72 hours. As the fleet prepared to enter hyperspace, Captain Yoon addressed all ships over the communication system. This is humanity's first contact with alien intelligence, she announced. Unfortunately, we are not meeting them under peaceful circumstances, but we have a chance to show the galaxy what humanity stands for. We protect the innocent. We defend the helpless. We never give up, no matter how bad the odds look. The fleet engaged their hyperspace drives and disappeared into the void, racing toward a distant star system where peaceful healers waited desperately for salvation. Behind them, intercepted Kethmer communications grew increasingly frantic as the Empire realized they were about to face something completely unprecedented. A species that had turned warfare into both science and art, and had never forgotten why sometimes fighting was necessary the moment the human fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Captain Yoon felt her heart sink. They were too late to prevent the attack, but not too late to stop it. Below them, the beautiful, blue-green world of Valara Prime was under siege. Massive alien warships hung in orbit like dark clouds, their weapons sending streams of deadly energy down to the planet's surface. Cities that had stood for thousands of years were burning. Captain, I am reading multiple civilian vessels trying to escape, reported Lieutenant Wu from the tactical station. The enemy ships are hunting them down one by one. Yoon watched in horror as a small transport ship, probably carrying families, fleeing the bombardment, was torn apart by laser fire from a Kethmer destroyer. There were no survivors. All ships, this is Captain Yoon, she announced over the fleet communication channel. Weapons are free. Priority targets are any enemy vessel attacking non-combatants. Show them what happens when they target innocent people. Was the first to open fire. Chief Engineer Nam had done his work well. The experimental railguns performed perfectly. A stream of tungsten slugs, each one the size of a telephone pole, screamed across space at nearly the speed of light. A struck a Kethmer heavy cruiser that was firing on a civilian evacuation station. The alien ship's energy shields flared and sparked, designed to deflect laser beams and plasma bolts, but they were useless against solid metal, traveling at such incredible speed. The tungsten slugs punched through the shields like they were not even there, then tore through the ships, hull from bow to stern. The cruiser exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Direct hit, shouted Lieutenant Wu. Enemy vessel destroyed. Across the battlefield, the rest of the human fleet was having similar success. The Kethmer had never faced kinetic weapons before, and their defenses were completely inadequate. Human ships that looked small and primitive compared to the alien dreadnoughts were tearing through enemy formations with devastating efficiency, Admiral Krex commanding the Kethmer fleet from his flagship watched his ships being destroyed and could not understand what was happening. "What are they firing at us?" he demanded of his tactical officer. "Solid projectiles, Admiral," came the confused reply. "Metal slugs with no energy signature. Our shields cannot stop them." "Possible," Krex snarled. "No civilized species uses such primitive weapons." The humans were proving that sometimes primitive weapons were the most effective ones. While the Kethmer had focused on perfecting energy weapons and defensive technology, humanity had spent centuries learning how to make things go very fast and hit very hard. Colonel Zhang was not content to fight from a distance. "Launch boarding." "Pods," he ordered his Marines. "Target the enemy flagship. We are going to end this quickly." The boarding pods were small, heavily armored ships designed to penetrate enemy hulls and deliver troops directly into hostile vessels. As they approached, the Kethmer flagship, the alien point defense weapons, opened fire. But the pod's armor was designed to withstand impacts from space debris at high speed. Enemy laser fire barely scratched them. The pods punched through the flagship's hull like bullets through paper. Colonel Zhang was the first one out, his assault rifle ready. Kethmer warriors waiting for them were tall, reptilian creatures with advanced energy weapons and powered armor. They expected a conventional firefight with energy beams and plasma grenades. Instead, they faced humans carrying chemical propellant firearms and explosive charges, weapons so primitive that the aliens' tactical computers did not even recognize them as threats. The Kethmer warriors' armor was designed to disperse energy weapons, but it could not stop old-fashioned bullets traveling at supersonic speeds. "Move fast and hit hard," Zhang ordered his troops as they fought their way through the ship's corridors. These aliens have never faced guerrilla warfare before. Use that advantage. The Marines used tactics that had been developed in Earth's bloodiest conflicts. They moved in small groups, used the ship's own structure for cover, and struck without warning before disappearing into the ventilation systems. The Kethmer used 2 formal battles between organized fleets, had no idea how to respond to such chaotic fighting. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Captain Yoon watched as more enemy ships fell to her fleet's unconventional weapons. "Lieutenant Wu, target their command vessel. If we can take out their admiral, the rest might surrender." "Targeting now, Captain," Wu replied, locking the railguns onto Admiral Krex's flagship, firing in 3.2.1. The tungsten slugs crossed the distance in seconds. But this time, instead of destroying the ship completely, they were aimed at specific targets: the engines, weapons systems, and communication arrays. The flagship was left crippled but intact, floating helplessly in space. Inside the ship, Colonel Zhang and his Marines had fought their way to the bridge. Admiral Krex stood surrounded by his officers, his reptilian face showing an emotion that humans would recognize as complete bewilderment. "Surrender," Zhang said simply. His rifle pointed at the alien commander. "Your fleet is defeated. Order your remaining ships to withdraw, and no more of your people need to die." Krex looked around at his destroyed fleet, then at the primitive, yet terrifyingly effective humans who had somehow defeated his superior technology. For the first time in his military career, he was completely outmatched. "I yield," he said in broken English that his computer translated. "The Kethmer fleet withdraws." The battle for Valara Prime was over. Humanity had won its first interstellar war. The great warship Indomitable floated silently in space, its hull scarred from battle. Inside the command center, High Counselor Thane stared out at the human fleet with wonder and confusion. Just hours ago, his people had been dying. Now they were alive, saved by these strange warriors from a distant world called Earth. Captain Yoon approached him, her face tired but kind. She had removed her battle helmet, revealing short black hair and eyes that had seen too much war. "Your people are safe now," she said through the new translation device Dr. Lee had quickly built. Thane's forearms trembled as he spoke. "We have nothing left to give you. Our cities burn. But we offer you everything we have. Our healing crystals, our knowledge, our lives, if you want them." The human captain shook her head. "We don't want your lives. We want your friendship." Dr. Kong walked over, carrying a small Valari healing stone that glowed with soft blue light. "This is amazing," she whispered to Captain Yoon. Their medicine could save millions of humans. Our weapons could protect millions of them. Word spread quickly across the galaxy. On distant worlds, beings who had hidden in fear for generations began to hope. The Zephyrians, who grew food for half the galaxy, had watched their farms burn under Kethmer attacks. The Aquari, peaceful ocean dwellers, had seen their coral cities destroyed. Crystallites, who sang beautiful songs that could heal broken hearts, had been silent for decades. Now they all heard the same story. Earth had come. Earth had fought. Earth had won. Admiral Song stood on the bridge of humanity's largest ship, reading reports from across space. Every day brought new messages. Some begged for help. Others offered friendship. A few warned that more enemies would come. Admiral called Lieutenant Chen. "We're getting a signal from the Harmony Cluster. The Vex are attacking the music worlds." Song closed her eyes. The Vex were different from the Kethmer. They destroyed art and beauty wherever they found it. They had already silenced 3 peaceful worlds. "Set course for Harmony," Song ordered. "Send word to our new friends. It's time to see if this alliance really works." The Valari ship Healing Wind joined the human fleet, along with vessels from 12 other worlds. They were farmers and healers, teachers and artists. But they had learned something from watching. Earth fight. Sometimes good people must stand together against evil. The battle at Harmony lasted only 6 hours. The Vex had expected to find helpless singers. Instead, they found human warships and alien allies who refused to let beauty die. Captain Yoon watched as Valari healers worked alongside human doctors to save the wounded. Zephyrian farmers shared their food with hungry refugees. Quarry swimmers helped rescue people from flooded cities. "This is what we were meant for," she told Dr. Lee. "Not conquest. Protection." The Kethmer Empire sent one last message before disappearing into the dark edges of space. It reached every world, every ship, every listening ear in the galaxy. "We ruled through fear for 1,000 years. We thought all species were like us, violent, greedy, cruel. We were wrong about one thing. The humans remember how to fight, yes. But they also remember why fighting matters. They do not fight for themselves. They fight for others. This makes them more dangerous than any empire. This makes them something we never learned to be. This makes them good." On the Valari homeworld, children played new games. Instead of hiding from monsters, they pretended to be brave human soldiers. Instead of crying for help, they practiced being heroes themselves. High Counselor Thane visited Earth 6 months later. He walked through Central Park in New York, amazed by the peaceful crowds. Humans pushed baby carriages, fed ducks, played music. Children laughed on playgrounds while their parents watched with gentle smiles. "I don't understand," he told Dr. Kang as they sat by a pond. "Your people are such fierce warriors. But here they seem so... normal?" Dr. Kang smiled. "That's the point. We fight so our children can play. We go to war so others can live in peace. We become monsters so our families can remain human." Little girl ran up to them, staring at Thanes for arms with wide eyes. Instead of running away, she offered him a flower she had picked. "For you," she said simply. Thane accepted the gift with shaking hands. In that moment, he finally understood why the galaxy had found its guardians. These humans didn't fight because they loved war. They fought because they loved peace. And somewhere, in the darkness of space, other empires heard the stories and made their choice. Some decided to change their ways. Others chose to stay hidden. But all of them learned the same lesson that Kethmer had learned too late. The humans had arrived, and the age of bullying the weak was over. The galaxy had found its protectors at last.